What's going on? Boylon here, and hope everyone is having an awesome weekend. In today's video, I kind of wanted to talk to you guys a bit about Blitz, both as a game mode and how it's making me, and most probably others, feel as well when it comes to the state of the game. I touched on this a little bit on Friday's blog post video, but I wanted to expand on my thoughts today. Now, this is on the backdrop of the so-called feature roadmap that we are going to be getting on Tuesday in another blog post, which I hope, for the longevity of the game, that there's something, anything that addresses the Blitz game mode, because I'm really starting to burn out a bit here when it comes to having to play Blitz for various reasons, especially on the back of events such as the Unity event for Negasonic and the Fun in the Sun event, all which have been sort of focused on the Blitz game mode, and now we have the X23 Blitz, of course, which is just making me burn out even more. So, as you can see when we go into my Blitz mode here, my current score is roughly about 20 million right now, and that's with just about 1 day left to go on her Blitz. As a comparison, the supposed estimate Blitz scores for top 1 to 2% is roughly around 15 million, I think, and top 2,000 somewhere around 30 million plus. So I'm going to try to get top 2,000, but I know it won't be easy, and my hands and brain and everything else is going to be hating me if I do manage to get there. Or still hate me if I miss the mark, and I'm going to feel even worse if I don't end up getting the goal that I'm trying to reach. Some might ask me why I'm doing this at all, rather than just being a milestone blitzer. And I guess part of this is my fault too, but at heart I'm a bit of a competitive player, so I like to try to do the best I can do within reason. The other main reason why I decided to push the X23 Blitz isn't that I think she's particularly amazing. In fact, I think the X-Force as a team rather is kind of meh. Nothing super great, at least in my experience so far of using them. That could be, again, because I have kind of low star levels on some of the more important damage characters, but why I'm trying so hard is the rumors that X-Force is going to be required for the next legendary event, Dr. Octopus. So really, in this case, it's just a means to an end to get someone else who's hopefully is going to be a bit better. But I think the root of all of this is the time spent on the game mode. I mean, right now I'm doing about 7 to 8 rotations a day. I think every 1.5 to 2 hours with timers set, which frankly is a bit embarrassing at home when my timers go off that many times a day, and it's because of Blitz. And I would say each rotation takes me about at least 30 minutes, maybe up to 40 or so, depending on how much I need to pay attention to a match to actually win. So if I'm going to be doing this about 7 to 8 times a day, I'm spending somewhere in the region of like 3.5 to 4 hours a day just blitzing. So multiply that by 3 days, on a blitz like this, and that's roughly 10.5 to 12 hours. And that's probably a fairly soft estimate. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually turned out to be more in terms of actual screen time. And this is just Blitz game mode. This doesn't account the time that I spend daily on arena, raids, and or if there's any alliance wars going on with my alliance. So overall, my daily game time is quite high when Blitz is accounted for. If you don't account for Blitz, or if I'm just doing 750k, on Monday blitzes or the less important blitzes, it's not so bad, and I have less to do. So, but with this is something that definitely needs to be addressed. FoxNext, or I suppose Scopely now, they made a commitment before in the past to lower what they call low quality time, and I think Blitz is definitely the biggest offender of this. Aside from straight up auto win blitzing, which a lot of people have requested, there is maybe a few things that could be done, including speeding up the game speed, jumping from maybe 4 or up to 5 times animations. This was a common request back when Ultima 7 was a lot more difficult and people were raising the issue of timing out in battles. Load times could also be severely improved. I think I'm spending at least maybe 5 minutes every rotation just in the loading screen when you're trying to get into your battle, especially when I'm doing like 20 to 25 different teams. I just know that something needs to be done, and I really want to pivot here onto Reddit, because Reddit actually has, if you just search Blitz on Reddit in the Marvel Strike Force subreddit, it's surprising what comes up. So just out of sheer curiosity, I just typed in Blitz, that's it, just Blitz, in the subreddit results for the Marvel Strike Force on Reddit, and here are some of the top things that are on here, and a lot of them I've upvoted because I've seen them, and I definitely agree. It's surprising. I'm on Reddit a bit far too frequently, probably anyways, but crackdown on Blitz cheating. So that's another big issue, is the Blitz botting. If you guys are unaware, that you know, I don't know how prevalent it is, but there's definitely some people that are using Blitz bots to get ahead. So these are people who are just constantly running a script that'll play their game for them, and so they don't have to do anything but keep their game on. And so this is related to using BlueStacks. I don't know what the solution is. You know, I heard that there are other games out there that have banned the use of programs like BlueStacks. I don't think this would be a good thing, but I think there's something on their end that they're going to need to do in order to address the blitz botting problem, because that's kind of ruining a lot of placements for a lot of people who are doing this legitly. You know, I don't know how many of the top 2,000 slots are being taken by blitz bots, but you know, even one is too many, and this is causing problems for a lot of, especially in these big events. You know, when people are trying to push really hard, like myself, and you know, being pushed out by even just a few points would be really annoying. So, ScopelyNext, please reduce all these Blitz events and Blitz character releases. This is just boring and people are getting frustrated. At least I know I am. So, 769 upvotes. You know, this is definitely how I'm feeling. And, you know, it's just, there's too much. So, there we go. So, there's a good suggestion here. So, for instance, I'd love to spend more time on PvP. You know, so why don't they utilize the PvP game mode in some way, like a tournament? I think that would be a great idea if we had like a PvP tournament system somehow. You know, I'm not a super creative thinker, but I would imagine that they might be able to do something like that where you could get shards, you know, for depending on how you place in a PvP tournament, and that would be pretty awesome, I think, rather than having to constantly do it in Blitz mode. You know, there's so many events that are being used right now for Blitz, especially in the last month alone, you know, and I think it's getting a bit unreasonable over time, and I think that they need to be a bit more creative and really find a different way forward for this, because it's just getting a bit too much. Add a 5 times speed for blitz and raids, you know, so something I mentioned before. 5 to 10 times speed, you know, instant result fights. So again, a lot about that auto blitzing is actually what a lot of people thought was going to be coming in this patch, because I think there was a mention in the patch notes about being a new feature. And I think instead of the inventory feature, a lot of people were thinking that actually was going to be some sort of auto blitzer, but it turned out not to be true. So I am hoping that on Tuesday, when we get the extra blog post, that there might be something different there addressing blitz. So our blitz boss, the new standard. Now, it's really tough, you know, like I'm not gonna lie, there was times where I thought, you know, is it worth it? You know, I heard they could go anywhere from 15 to 20 US$. I don't cheat. I condone cheating in any form, but it's so frustrating and so exhausting, you know, to try to keep up with the presence of cheaters, the presence of blitz bots. And I think in this blog post that if we don't see something credible regarding the blitz game mode, that people are going to start rioting pretty soon, because it's just, if they continue doing the same thing that they have been doing with the events and blitzing, I think that at some point there's going to be a bubbling and boiling point where it's just going to blow over, and people are going to explode about this, because it's just crazy. And you know, so I just really think that there is a bit of a problem in relation to how much we're, you know, I think I read this one, blitzing for a day, a breakdown of 3.5 hours of low quality screen time. If I'm not mistaken, I think, yeah, someone did a little bit of a breakdown here of all the time that they were spending playing. So TLDR, if you run 8 blitz cycles a day, which sounds like me, on even low multiplier tiers to speed up battle, you spend 3.5 hours blitzing, of which only 2.37 hours are spent flat battling. So he broke it down, I think, here. They say he's running 27 teams. I think this was based on it was 8 days ago, but I think this had to do with like sort of the Unity and Fun of the Sun events when you're just farming at low tiers. So loading screen, 4.3 minutes at 10 seconds of battle. Team cycling, 2.16 minutes at 5 seconds of battle. Win-loss animation and reload screen. That's another thing too. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes like when I actually win the battle or lose the battle or whatever, you know, it takes like 3, 4, 5 seconds sometimes for like for that to show across the screen, you know, victory or whatever it says there. Auto battle, 17.76 minutes or 41 seconds of battle. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways they could either reduce this thing, or, you know what, just make it easier for everyone and bring in some sort of formula where you could auto blitz. Maybe you don't get the full amount of points, maybe you get 80% of the points, you know, if you don't want to actually battle it out. But, you know, I suppose I don't know how accurate that would be and how good it would be if they have auto blitzing, and what the success rate of you actually winning if they were to, you know, take your team against another team, and what how reliable would it be that you would actually win the auto battle, unless they automatically give you the points. I don't know. But this low quality time is definitely something that needs to be addressed. for sure. And I don't know, the characters that are coming up, and there's actually another, and we know that there's another Blitz coming up. We know the Beast who's going to be coming out is going to be in a Blitz as well. So that's just crazy. And I just wanted to jump back into the game for a minute because I did remember about this. I think it was a couple days ago we got this in-game mail about Beast, so coming soon, Beast. And of course, I was a bit disappointed to know. When I can scroll down, why is my scrolling not working? That he is be on the lookout for the Azure Animal Blitz featuring Beast. So Beast, another new character for patch 4.2, is going to be a Blitz. Although X23, who is the Blitz right now, of course, is actually part of 4.1 or whatever patch number that was. So that's not part of this Blitz, or sorry, this patch cycle, but you know, they can't get away with at least one character being in Blitz. So, you know, we have Squirrel Girl who's coming up next week, and that's going to be a campaign. They almost always do a campaign event every patch cycle as well. So if it's not a Blitz character, it's a campaign event, and then sometimes, usually a milestone these days. So I sincerely hope if Emma Frost is a Blitz, I am going to go bonkers, because there's just, you know, if they don't fix something by then, because you know, we do get 100 shard Blitz characters. This happens once every patch or two, you know, so I wouldn't be surprised if Emma Frost is a full Blitz on her own. She could actually be a part of some sort of milestone event, because that's, you know, milestone events are quite common as well. But I swear, if she's a Blitz, I'm just gonna I don't know, because Emma Frost is one of the best characters probably of this patch cycle. So I love Marvel Strike Force. You know, I wouldn't be making these videos if I didn't really enjoy the game. But the fact that we're spending all this amount of time on blitzing, for those of us who are, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people watching my video, and plenty of other people out there who are just okay with the 750k and call it a day. And really, maybe that's why I need to start doing, because I just can't fathom spending 8 to 10 hours plus on a character every, even though it's only, you know, there's only 2 events, two X23 blitzes. It's a lot of time spent, and if I actually like equated that to a job, you know, depending on where you live in the world, you know, for me it'd be about minimum wage, you know, it would be here about $15 an hour. I could make more money in that time and just buy the offers to get the shards, rather than actually spending the time blitzing myself. Not to mention it would save me like 10 hours of headache having to do that. You know, I'd almost rather buy, and I feel for the people who just buy their offers, because really, especially for Blitz characters, because it's just super ridiculous how much time you need to spend to get there. So I apologize that this video sort of turned into a bit of a rant video against the Blitz game mode, but I think this is the single most important issue that this game has. And believe me, there's a lot of issues in this game, but I think addressing low quality time related to blitzing has to be near the top of concerns for me in this game, and a lot of other people as well. As much as other bugs and issues bother me, this is for sure the highest priority to me. What about you guys though? Does Blitz game mode or the events and character releases around it bother you as much as it does me? Maybe I'm being too serious about it and I'm in the minority. You know, that's highly possible too. Or what other release methods do you think the Scopely should be trying to get out new characters to us, rather than the same methods that they've been using for years? Personally, I missed the raid releases for new characters back when the Greek raids were new, and they used that as a vehicle to release new characters. Maybe they could do some new raid maps, which we sorely need, and with new orb rewards for that, which give us shards for these characters. Anything would be an improvement over some of the things that they're doing now. I actually wouldn't mind utilizing the new PvP system to release them either. I think, you know, I think I mentioned doing like a tournament-esque mode for that would be pretty cool and a more fun way to do it. I just really hope that Tuesday brings us some new good news for us related to Blitz, or I might have to swear off blitzing for the new characters beyond a reasonable level. Anyways, that's all from me for today. Once again, I hope everyone is enjoying the rest of their weekend, and stay tuned for my next video where I'll most probably be a lot more positive than I was in today's video. But forgive me if I'm feeling a bit burnt out after spending most of my last 2 days trying to get X23 shards. I hope to see you all next time, and until then, stay safe everyone. Boylon signing out.